Pacho me met me baby no sutini baby.
Ye nyatene say what abrochiri baby. Wuni ma wochi baby poti ano.
Me Monday me mbisa no. Nanso news we na almost oti Poland.
Ma okay. So ti abrochiri dia ene empendo do sen e na wo hunu afie bia mu.
Okay. Me bani nya 5 years no. Na obai. 3 years later no obai. Oba na oko. Osamba 1 year later. Enche na oko. Oba 3 days time maybe sana se na yeso oko. No asamba na oko nti obako. But this year no, last year no be stay.
Yeah, na so oba oni no ne abofra no montem te say moyonko fa say eja ne oba ena ne oba entem ya na te say.
Ba ne papa ne de. Oba ye no, be stay ye no. Menini ye fine. Oba be fa kola ne reko. Ona ode ne ba. Oko ni school ko tua ni school fees. Nti school teachers phone nyina nim no. Last year on the 12th, odi ni birthday crampo no. Ono no ko di birthday ni man wo school mu. Nti teacher phone nim no bi student ni so ebi num no. Nti akwat say popular. Nti na omukura mo so mo bisa akola ni say da bena. Obaba be san be di birthday amana na isanse ono na why famous wo mo school mu ono na we di birthday kese wo mo school mu nti na mo say bisa no. Ansa na incident we is
Papa no unim no say ne nipa ban te say ne suban ne niye o te say.
Oh, me who say o bi o ye gidigidi na say o kan wan kan ni problem bi antinem say e bia bibisa sometimes no e wo mu say call de bi obi be frɛ wo be hu na nso later obe ka say bia obe frɛ na o refi me ta frɛ no onu so wo mu ana ofrɛ ba na nse no onfrɛ na me frɛ no so wakonya accident ba o wokumasi sometimes so me frɛ o so wonya accident to a hospital nti as wanya accident say 3 times or by no as wanya accident 3 times na nso me ni ntina ase ni ndi nkomoy ono ane say me frɛ a ho te say o se ne ho ye asa no pe
Mame hwe emfuni kakra dano a asem ni siye no na wo ba no owo nchen e na obefa no anase ye hene na na abofra no wo na kwan ben so e na ofa ya ne nsaka abofra no.
Okay, last week Tuesday no enumerate 10 o'clock and ofre say na danfu bi wo abrochire obekọ nti opese onsusu akola no na ompam atale ni mpoba bi emfa embre no nti oba befa no Thursday 12 o'clock e wo school mu na me nti ondi ya na me say ai odi ya no say e o ti say e friend say ya o wa no kati phone nti mitina asesa na me dream na me say e na Bray patch na me kinka o ma dream say adenti na obeka say Thursday oba be fa no school 12 o'clock me na me catch me hu 12 o'clock on di ya na me so me ji so say o di ya no ansa nka say aye o te say your friend ya nti akola no so on die ye nyina ye ndai ono anadi phone ni ma me na me pick call I'm calling and say, Ska, say now, papa, aircon. Or say, Baba foul Thursday. No, I'm more down for phobia, susu, and down for be a fia brochaba. No way, susu. No, a pamata, learning Poboa, they are blown to Baba foul Thursday. Now, Obisam say, Odi ya na, and I'm say, Odi ya. No, no, Ankasa Sanka say, I ought say, would ya? I'm beside say, na ska obi kasa asem we ya. Wo odwen ho sen. Na akola na kasa kasi. Nle so de mi ko gi sikaduro. Ana ye nyina ye sere ye ha 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 ha.
Me pasho. Akoda no te se ubisa no o ka se ne papa busa ne dini ene ne krada no akoda no ankasa kan se ne papa de ne ko gi sikaduro na.
Se ono de okan ni ye nyina joke. Ase nle so de mi ko gi sikaduro. Ye nyina ye kan say jokes keke. Se if say so omote nsem omonim nsem se o krada o ba be fa o krada ni nyama me de me ba na me ne omudi nkomo me nso me tu omofo enti me kan sa akire no se ono a obi se oba be fa o Thursday o se wo di ya na me so me kan se o di ya na o se o ya o ti se ye fra wo ya enti obi ka sa asem we kire wa wo ba dwen ho sen na o se ne se o de me ko gi sikaduro sa na kola ne kai me ntwa ntro ngu akola ne soso aya na adwuno
Enti wa ka kire mo di hu nkomo oba so obe fa akoda no ono udi nkomo bi ansa na odi akoda ne ma no ana se oshi akoda no kwem no ode no ko ye
there be so say oba be fa ne Thursday e wo school mu enti imini akola ne ka sa wie ye no na Wednesday me call market nti me call me shop hono no na mpanyifo bi wo hono mo na me di tu omanim se madam fu bi say ne ba papa ba be fa ne Thursday okopa matale ama no nti ba be fa ne wo school mu 12 o'clock nti sa 12 o'clock no aya Thursday no sa kola ne di ya na me so ni man ma me no so ska se o ka se akola ne di ya na ne papa ne ka se aya o te se ye friend ne ya nti omo no omuti asiesen advice be na me fama enipa no na omo ka kire me se me nko ka kire madam fu ni se Thursday no e ma akola ne nko school na ontina ne nchen wo fie ana se me onko school nim na onka kire teacher fo ni se o papa be fa akola na e ma ne mfa no na echire no e ka kire omo se enye madam fu bia na emi amankasa me ba sikana ne papa ba be fa no ana mo kro mo ye me se meji mi pa mi ankasa na ade ne eye me na me bisa na me se o me yes suggest ahwe nti e ho no mo no ana mo ka kire me se be ya me ma akola no onko school na ombe tina me nchen wo store.
If you're watching GTV Breakfast this morning, we're speaking to the mother of the child who was allegedly taken out of school by her father to be sent for money rituals. Madam Evelyn Keme is the one we're speaking to. Stay with us as we go further to find out a few more from her. She's so far giving us a little background, the man, his character, his nature, where he has been, where he was, and also the circumstances leading to how he got hold of the child, and also certain questions preceding how he got hold of the child. In fact, the child herself, from what the mother has just told us, became a bit suspicious about questions the father had asked the mother about her day of birth, her name, and other things surrounding her. And having discussed that with her friends, they told her they're suspicious, and so she should not allow the child to go to the father. Let's go back and speak some more with Madam Keme. Ma menhwe inti ubo ni nyina tugui ena oma sika eko school. Na oko school no dai ni siye.
Oko school no papa na ambefa no nti ni numre 3 something hono no na ofre ye se wa ba na me so da bi on mai na obi sam se tambe na omopon na me so ompon 3:30 na nso no on mai nti na ka jan se dia Friday anopa oba befa no e de na akọ na me see you nti akola ne ba na me ka che ne se O papa say Friday, oba be fa ako. Na ade chinye. Te ade chinye na I expect say obe friend them. Te I bought akola na siesie ne ho oba be ko school nti I bought say 640. Oh na papa ne frɛ say oba be fa na me say akola na nkasa. Oni o papa ne nkasa. Nti odi o papa ne kasa na o ka che o papa ne say baby omo o say odi ne be kono. Friday no eya ye mom homeworks bebre. Nti okwa ontumi enye homework no. Na o ka che nso omo kwa sansa omo chi abasese ya. Ohana o papa ne kati phone. Ehu anche na papa ne san frɛ say ni sister the Elizabeth me ma ne emfa ne be hia no amasama. Nti na omo esiesie omo ho awie nti na me ma Elizabeth ni ko hia wa amasama. But before mbe free fie no nyame ani mi ntwa ntro me ka cha akola ne say o kwa o papa to nsuo ma won kwan so a menum omo we aduane a mendi afa nsu no udru baby a obepam atale amawa omo ka se yiwa atale a menyi na mbisa akola ne se sika mede wo kwara se mene wo kwa akopam atale a ye yiwa atare ana o se da bi am se mo konso a hwe no anda o ka anim ona o se yo nti am ka se se mudru na se omo se chinchina yiwa atale a kikem na ka se me papa de mi koji sikaduro me papa de mi koji sikaduro me de me ka chele no me ntwa ontro me ka chele no se wo ni me ka ju ti me ka chele
me pacho anye bia papa no boso ma wote se owo ohaw owo sikasem ohaw
pacho wan kan chele
omakodru ho no wante hwe biem ebreben ena nkra beka wonsa se ne asini
nti ode ne ko e me share time say ni papa ne be frɛ nanso ni papa no wan frɛ nti wan frɛ saa no na about say 11:40 ena me receive call ono kra na me kɔtɔ ade nti me weka no na de phone di mechi ena me say na man kan cho say me de me phone obi frɛ am mfa na ono say ma fa phone na ma receive call na enipa ne shout wo me so say me fa phone ni manira me fa phone ni manira nti enipa no kra gina phone ni so na me say on fa ma me nti ehonu mu na me gi phone na me say hello na enipa no bisa me say me ba no wo he nti o ka say me ba no wo na me say ni teacher ni ana if so no o ko school na say wan be school a teacher ni frɛ e bisa say de nti na wan be school ana nti o say enye ni teacher ni na oye police ni na obane na ne de ode ni number ama me nti obane wo police station one ni papa sese a na obano o papa de ni kwaji sikaduro sana police ni oso ye police ni kan nti omo oyibi and I'm say no yibi ni kura ewo himfa me ni mo yibi o ana o say ewo adenta nti me mbra sese a nti ho ana medi mi ka me furu ka kosi wa amasama na me hia obi na me ka chense obetimi a ne ka na ye correct ana obi mom ka na ye correct nti ne ka na ye correct ana ono se ai obetimi di mi akwa adenta ana ono se ai nti ho no mu no na ode me ko na me ne ye suggestion wo ka nim se na police ni na frame moreover no nipa no so ya igbeni ana o ka se we hia ni nua ba na sasem ato ne dia wo se ode me ko nti na ode me call ye saa na ekodu Adenta police station.
Right. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. We're coming to you live from Dar es Salaam, somewhere near Amasama. We're speaking with Madame Evelyn Keme, the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals somewhere last week. We saw the videos on social media and how the circumstances in which the father was handcuffed and taken away. I asked her about the circumstances of the father, whether or not the father had ever mentioned whether he has any financial problems. And she said, as far as she's concerned, no, the man has never mentioned any such issues with her. Also, whether or not the relationship between father and child. And she explained the father has been really very nice with the child, even though they don't live together. On the child's birthday last year, which was the 12th of September, it was the father who threw a big party in her school. And so every now and then her friends will ask when the next birthday will be and when daddy will show up. I asked her also about the circumstances leading to how the child got to the father. And she explained that the father had called previously to ask about the child's name, the day she was born. And when she discussed that with the child, the first thing the child could say was, given what questions my dad is asking about my name and my day of birth, could it not be that he wanted to use me for money rituals? And they both laughed over it. And then when she went to work the next day, she discussed the same thing with some of the women who trade with her, where she does her chop bar. Chop bar is a mini eatery in our local parlance. We call it chop bar. It could be a restaurant anyway. And so after she had done the discussion, friends who work with her told her that given that the man had called you to say he is coming for the child on that day, please don't give the child away to him. And if it is possible, don't let the child go to school. Keep the child at home and don't allow the child to go. Indeed, she didn't pay so much attention to it. She allowed the child to go. But before the child went to school, she warned the child and said, if your father comes for you, on the way, he buys you water, don't drink. If he buys you food, don't drink. If he buys you food, don't eat. And even in the car, do not sleep. Indeed, the father came home, sent someone to come for the child at home on the Friday morning. And so not even from the school, he got hold of the child from home. So the mother released the child to a sister of the father who somewhere halfway from Dar es Salaam to Amasama handed the child over to the father. And she also warned the child that if you get to where you're going, given that your father says he wants to sew you a dress, and so you're going to be measured by the seamstress, when you get there and they ask you to take off your dress, say no, because anytime I have taken you to a seamstress to sew you a dress, we don't take off your clothes. So don't take off your clothes. And if they insist you do, scream and shout, my father wants to use me for money rituals. How all this came to play even before the actual event occurred, for me, beats my imagination. But yes, that is the circumstances leading to how the child got to the father. And so all that happened, fast forward, she was there, the child had gone, and in the somewhere around midday, she got a call, and then her phone was brought to her. On the phone was a police officer who was screaming at her, where is your child? And then when she had mentioned where the child was at the time, she was invited to come to the police station at Oyibi, and she even said she doesn't even know there. And so she went, looked for a car, and met a man who's an Ewe man who offered to drive her to the Oyibi police station, where she was reunited with her child. Let me go back to her finally and take this from her. Madam, medase se oni edi nkomo ukodru police station ho anasa omodo ko fie ho a bebe ana abofra no aye hu wo video no mu no
me kodru police station ho Oyibi police station na me kodru ye na mo se akola anada nti omo ankasa na omo twen saa na akola ne sorry o sole ye na police woman ba akode ne bai obe ohumia na obe ha game no ye matu na omo nyina omo kasa ampa ye ne ba nti hono mo no na omo ye ko tro ye numu nsem na akola no so omo ne tro ne numu nsem nti akola ne numu nsem na ono tro ye na memeti ye na akola ne tro ye na sese na memeti ye na akola ne se omo kono na oduru baabi na okacho papa se obanum nsuo na papa to nsuo ni ma no na me nti oto nsuo ni ma no nti omo sai akọ kakra no na so obedidi omo kọ kakra na papa kọtọ efiewura de baaye oto efiewura na de baaye no omo sai akọ kakra na
efiewura na ye bag ya ye di nyoma gumu efiewura so ame
papa kọtọ ye amukoto na amuko kakra no papa say ombe didi amunko didi na amuko didi ye na mbisa say oni hwan ne ko didi na mo say na police ni bisa ne say oni hwan ne ko didi na say oni driver ni ne ko didi ye na omo sambet na akenim nti amuko kakra na papa ka che driver ni say onsi no ntwen driver ni nsi no ntwen na omo ba ti driver ni si ye no na ono ne papa no omo koye nti omo koye no na omo koduru bebe na papa park car no na omo siye na papa de safua no ma me bi ho na ma me no ton provisions e wo ho no na de papa safua ne ma ne se oba nti o ka so oba na omo so omo nanti kakra anchepe no omo wura efie kese bi mu gate da no nti gate da no na omo ko tena ase oni ni papa nyina tena ase nti omo tena ase na obi baaye abefa papa de koye nti o papa koye anche no papa ne san baaye obaaye pena omo ka kire ono akola ne se onko tena edan bi wo ho no mu nti ono ko tena okọ dan ni mu okọ tena dan ni ohun stool wo ho no mu ahemfo stool wo ho no mu na golden knife e wo ho no mu nti ma me ne bisan se unhu ahemfo stool ni golden knife no we nsura na o si debi o ho ye palace
okupie ho mame nhwe wankasa ebra okupie police station ho a unya hunu se nia anka ekosie nu na afi utwa ubu nkompo kohwe enkomo a one oba no abo ne ensem a monkeka ye na ekoba ne sa no na etewsen wankasa na etewsen
okay mi bo shake nenso anya mi beble e se mi ka chen se omo kwa eduru honum na se bibisa na onja ne no nkike mu se papa de mi koye sikaduro ntino me fi se bia onu na oko oshi obi no ka chen na nipa ni ko police station ntina bia police for ne firm no omo ka se akola na di mi number omo se akola na di mi number ne ma omo se on free me nti minim se bia akola na akoka che police for ne se ebi ni papa de ni ko sikaduro efisa se na ya ka no wo fie ni ntino nti ma free o papa line no me ntwa ntro ma free nti ma adwini se me ko police station wona se ampa se oka asem na ye kan nti na oka sa che police for na de na no onimo papa number nti midu ha nkrofo ne be bisa me o papa number ohonum na me de ama no ebi nso na papa no akola na adwane afri ni nchen ana ebi o hwehwe no nti na me manfre o papa line no sa na me ye ma adwen nti na manfre papa line no
finally efri se odi akwala no ba afie no akwala no ne ni ye ni suban eden na u feel say asesa anase eden ni nia ni si ye no de abre akoda no
oh ze ye de me mba ne de me mfa bibia nsi omo efi say me ana metete omo nti bibia omo so omo hwe tv phone si so omo hwe so nti me nya omo han nti bibia besi bia no ye nyina ye di hu ye discuss nti omo no o fi say bia ebia papa ni omo hu nti no me ye bibia me ma obi ehu say me ni adaje me djuma ye me djuma nti me ma omo hu me bibia nti wono ombo shake kra
nti se uja na kwan se onku school a na nije obaye na nije me ba ma be hu se odi agro wa ba me nchen ni den asesa won ne suban mu den asesa won se ne osifa ya na de
se na ye ti dada no sa bibia asesa won ho ye ba ntina police for no say ebi on be ku ni school nia ebe ya ne pen se ye kwa asori Sunday no akola bi na ye no se una ye do u papa do kwa koji sikaduro u ye asi u ye scapegoat na ye do kwa koji sikaduro akola bi na edi dinu rofa akola ba ko pe ba o kire me akola no
ya da se pa se oni yen edi enkomo ma be hu se grandma ewa ha o uncle so ewa ha abusuafo wa brochire nso afro bebre brono a wote so no sen eno mo nso omofa asemu esi yi
bebree aba na ɔma aba hyɛ yɛn kran ɔma aba hyɛ yɛn kran.
Medase, thank you very much once again for joining us. I've been speaking with Madame Evelyn Keme, the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals by her father. I've asked her a few questions, and in the last few minutes, I asked what the relationship with the child and the father had been, and as far as she's concerned, everything has been okay. And I asked when the child had left and they had gone, and the call came to her that this is what had happened, how did she feel? And she said, well, given that they've discussed it, she felt perhaps the child had run away and had gone to the police to allege that, in fact, that is what the father had wanted to use her for. And so for her, leaving home and getting to the police station, she didn't even call the husband's or the father's number because her plan was to get to the police station, get hold of the child, and if it is exactly as they had discussed before the child left, then she would explain to the police that had been the plan. And so then from there, she will call the man, but then arriving there, she realized that's exactly what it had been. And then the child was made to write her statement. So what she gleaned from the child's statement was how she got to the house, and when she got there, what was there. This has been the special sit down with the mother of the child who was allegedly going to be used for money rituals by her father. Her name is Evelyn Keme. As always, my name is Darrell Alan Tego. This has been #GTV Breakfast. Thank you very much. Take it over, Kafui.
And thank you very much for the interview, very extensive. We have two questions that we want to ask you from my guest. Bright, what's the question you wanted Alan to ask Evelyn?
Yes, my question is that I find out from the woman when they handed the child to her, what was the processes like?
Okay.
By the police.
Okay, and then Christine?
He said that the woman said that they live separately. So I wanted to know about the access that the man has to the child. How often the man would go and see her.
Okay. So Alan, two questions. Access. How often does the man get to see his daughter? And what were the processes like when the police stepped in? If you can briefly ask Madame Keme. Okay, so we're going to establish that link with Alan and get back to him to answer those two questions. This is GTV Breakfast. My guest in studio, Bright Appiah, Executive Director.